Big news, Tucker Carlson canceled on Fox News. Is he fed up, fired, or does he have a better place to go? That's right, the big buzz is where did he go and where will we find Tucker? Did another big name pick him up? Some really important information regarding this and some important info Tucker put out there before he had to pack his bags and leave. If you guys are brand new here, welcome to our awesome community where we give you awareness like this, things that may affect you, prepping tips, emergency preparedness how-tos. If you happen to find value in that, be sure to hit the notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. Now, some of you may be for Tucker or against Tucker. Some of you may like Fox News. Some of you may be against Fox News. When it comes to me, I personally liked Tucker. I think that he delivered a lot of things, a lot of awareness that people should be thinking about. Now, whether I think Fox News as an agency is great, that's another discussion. But I've used Tucker quite a few times in reference over the last couple years. Regardless, this is a big move that you guys should pay attention to because it's definitely shaping our future. You guys know that Tucker Carlson is the highest rated cable news host in history and is out at Fox News. Why would a news agency, with their number one guy with the best ratings out there, why would they let him go? Maybe for reasons we already know. I mean, look, shares of 21st Century Fox dropped like a rock on the news and is now sitting at January lows. The drop in Fox's market cap is around the same as the settlement with the Dominion. Huge hit for letting their top guy go. The news comes days after the network cut ties with the host Dan Bongino, 48 hours after the network settled with Dominion voting systems for nearly $800 million. And the news to the world right now is kind of looking like this.
We have some news from within our Fox family. Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have mutually agreed to part ways. Tucker's last show was this past Friday. And starting tonight, Fox News Tonight will air live at 8 p.m. Eastern. It will be an interim show with rotating Fox News personalities until a new host is named. We want to thank Tucker Carlson for his service to the network as a host and prior to that as a long-term contributor.
So they say that they had an agreement to part ways, but did you know Carlson's executive producer, Justin Wells, is also out of the network according to Semaphore? And I'm not sure if Tucker or his producer did all the writing and script for what he put out there, but it was definitely strong. I'm hoping we're gonna be able to see Tucker somewhere else, which I'll tell you about that in a minute, but his hilarious laugh, I loved it.
Deal targets enter offshore wind. That's the news story on Politico. They're prostitutes. And they're not even ashamed.
I don't know. His quirky laughter never got old. But like I said, I've got a little insight on where I think he's getting picked up by another big name. TV News Now puts out the TV ratings for Fox News was #1 in total viewers in cable's news on Monday, April 17th. But like I said, some people are saying that he got fired. Now, I'm not sure I buy that he got fired. The fact that they came out and made a public statement that they decided to mutually split ways. I imagine the upper dogs were coming down on him on some of his delivery. I mean, much like the stuff like this.
Not a law, a rule that will punish Americans who've tried to do the right thing. Punish people with high credit scores. The people with high credit scores will pay higher fees on their mortgage payments to subsidize people who haven't maintained good credit. So these rules take effect on May 1st, whether you like it or not. And they mean that anyone with good credit, that's defined as a score of 680 or above, is going to have to pay roughly $40 a month extra on their mortgage fees than those with lower scores on home loans of around $400,000. So here's an example. If you have a FICO score of 620, you get a 1.75% discount on your mortgage fees. If you have a 740 score, in other words, you pay your bills on time, you've done the right thing, you're a good citizen, you have to pay 1% more. So you don't get a discount for doing the right thing and paying your bills, you get punished. We are incentivizing bad behavior. We're hurting the good people. Since the day you were born, you have been told, pay your debts. It's not your money. You borrowed it from somebody else. You have to pay it back. If you don't, it's stealing. Now we're saying, if you don't steal, we're going to hurt you. And in real life, that means that over the course of a 30-year mortgage for a $400,000 home, that's a swing of more than $14,000.
So you see, you got Tucker coming out on his programs swimming against the current every single time. And I'm not sure you guys knew, but the same people who own CNN own Fox News, BlackRock. BlackRock's one of the biggest shareholders of Fox News. They're like the second biggest. You gotta imagine being one of the top dogs that controls everything, hearing stuff coming out, going against what you're trying to make happen. This guy Tucker creates a lot of ripples. Seriously, on his way out, like he always does, he makes some hard cracks against the government.
By their political allies and their relatives. But for their critics, there is no such mercy. For the first time in our history, the government has begun to arrest people for saying things the White House doesn't like. That's the end of the First Amendment. Speech that's been protected for centuries in the United States is no longer protected. It's now a criminal act. We've told you about the grotesquely unconstitutional prosecution and then conviction of Douglas Mackey. The DOJ is trying to send Mackey to prison for a decade for making fun of Hillary Clinton's voters on Twitter. The media barely report the story. They don't seem to care at all. They seem to endorse it. No one in Congress has meaningfully pushed back against it. So this trend continues. The latest group of Americans to find their constitutionally protected opinions become felonies are, believe it or not, an organization of black nationalist left-wingers who oppose the war in Ukraine. The DOJ has just charged many in this group with seeking to, quote, sow discord. For whatever it's worth, we're not really sure who that guy is. We know he's American. Pretty sure that on a lot of issues, we likely would not agree with him. A lot of what he just said in that video seems to be true. But even if it weren't true, even if he was wrong, it would still be constitutionally protected speech. In a free country, which we had until recently, you are allowed by definition to have dumb opinions. Most of us do, but not anymore. So that man you just saw is facing 10 years behind bars for expressing views about Ukraine that the Biden administration doesn't want to hear. That's terrifying. Does no one else think that's terrifying? It is terrifying. And to that man's credit, whoever he is, he saw it coming. Here he is at a rally last month.
Another long segment with this guy that's a little bit irrelevant. Let's see how he closes this.
Okay, again, we're not defending that guy because we agree with all of his views. We probably don't. Totally irrelevant. Whether you agree with what someone is saying has nothing to do with his right to say it. Americans are allowed to say what they think is true, period. If they take that right away, you are no longer a citizen, you are a slave.
And for those of you that never did tune in to Tucker for whatever reason, this is his delivery. He was always delivering it hard. Often that hard punch was a gut shot to either the left or to the government. And what are people saying? Well, people like Glenn Greenwald wrote in and said that oftentimes Tucker would denounce the CIA, FBI, and DHS for what most would believe their systematic lies and corruption. That type of stuff gives you points on one side and definitely hate from the other. Glenn also writes, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Fox, there was extreme, even fundamental disagreements between Tucker and the Hannity show on these key issues, the kind of internal debate unthinkable on other networks in lockstep. He also says, I'd wager that the new 8 p.m. host will be far more aligned with Hannity, standard GOP. Now, before I tell you where he's expected to be seen next, as I feel it's my duty to give you guys good, pertinent information, awareness type news that if I feel like affects you guys all, it's important for someone like me, and I would urge others, to take in media from all angles. Don't just take it in from one side. You got to be knowing how the ball is being played from each court. That's how people strategically win a game oftentimes, right? They often know the opponent's move and how they play. That's the way I look at it. I watch CNN. I watch Sun News from India. I watch news from the right side and independent news. I'm always trying to put together all the pieces of the puzzle and see what makes sense in my brain. And that's the glorious thing about being able to think for yourself. Freedom to do your own investigation, be able to pull up facts from this direction and that direction, and compile your own theory. I'm not the smartest guy out there. A lot of you guys watching this channel know a lot more than I do. But so far, That makes a lot of sense to me. How about you guys? So the big question is, where is Tucker going? Is it Rumble? A lot of people are bringing up the name Rumble. And by the way, if you guys haven't subscribed to Riverside Homestead over at Rumble, be sure to do that. I'm not super active over there, but as the transition happens, I will be over on Rumble a lot more. So be sure to add me over there at Rumble. Trash Discourse writes in, Rumble is about to get real interesting. You already know Dan Bongino and Tucker Carlson talked about this. I think it's people who are willing to tell the truth and want creative control is too risky for them in the light of the lawsuit settlement. Trash Discourse also writes, Twitter ? And they might be onto something there. Is it Elon Musk that noticed a diamond in the rough on this one and got his grips on Tucker? Rasmussen Reports writes, Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk start a nightly show exclusively on Twitter as Tucker becomes the richest man in media. So will Tucker come out and badmouth Fox News? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I'm guessing that they left on civil terms, a respect level, but the reports that Tucker might be coming out with soon ought to be pretty good. Anyway, guys, I didn't know if I should do this video or not, but since how I like Tucker and I like how he's brought awareness to the world, I thought I'd do it. Let me know what you guys know down in the comments below. Be sure to share this video so it gets out to people. Keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing, guys. We'll see you on the next one.